Welcome to the introduction to Google Sheets for ISD535.org. Please remember to pause the video and try these tasks on your own iPad or computer as you follow along. I'm going to go ahead and assume that you're already logged in with your ISD535.org account. You should see your name in the upper right-hand corner. If you don't see it, go ahead and log in. Once you're logged in, you should see these little dots. Click on the dots and then click on Sheets. This will bring up your entire list of all your sheets in your Google Drive. We can view all our sheets in two ways, either in a list format, which I have right now, or in a grid format. I can sort them by last modified, last edited, last opened, or by title. If I want to create a new sheet, I go to the bottom right and click on that plus sign. Mr. Melhorn has an experiment for his students that measures the number of turtles that breed every month and graphs them. So we're going to use this opportunity to learn how to enter data and graph it. In the first column, we're going to have the months. In the second column, we're going to enter the number of turtles. You can see that that kind of goes a little beyond the length of the cell, so I'm going to grab this edge, just make it a little bit bigger. Now I'm just going to enter the number of months in the left-hand column. And then I'm going to enter my data for month number 1, month number 2, and so on, all the way through the end of the year. Now I've entered all my data, and I'd like to see this in graphical format. The first thing I always do as soon as I've entered some data is I go up to the left-hand corner here, and I name my spreadsheet. I'm going to call it Turtle Experiment. Click on OK. Now you can see my spreadsheet has a name, and Google will automatically save it. Right up here it says all changes are saved in Drive. One of the best features is that all your changes will be automatically saved. You never have to remember to save, and you won't lose your data if your computer crashes. Now we're ready to put it in graphical format. Let's highlight all of our data by clicking and dragging. What we're going to do is click on Insert, Chart. Now you can see the data selected is A1 through B13, which is exactly our data, A1 through B13. We're going to choose a different kind of chart by clicking on More. We want a scatter plot for this kind of data. So let's click Scatter Plot. And that looks a little bit closer to what we want. Let's go back to the Start tab and click on Insert. Click on the top area of it and drag it, if you'd like, to the side so you can see your data and your chart at the same time. I don't really want my chart title to be Chart Title. I'd like it to be Turtle Experiment. So I'm going to click on the title and type in Turtle Experiment. I don't really like the horizontal axis title to be horizontal axis title. I'm going to change it to number of months. I can go back and edit these all by clicking on the little triangle in the upper right-hand side and clicking on Advanced Edit. You can see the title of the chart is now Turtle Experiment. I can have a legend to the right, to the top, bottom, inside, or none. I can change the font. I can change the background. And I can edit both of the axes. The horizontal axis says number of months. If I want to add a vertical axis, I can put number of turtles. I can change the number of grid lines. I can add minor grid lines. I can manually set the number format or just use what Google guesses from my data, which is what I'll usually do. I can change the scale or have a log scale. And I only have one data series, so it only has one color. I can add a trend line if I'd like, either a linear, an exponential, or polynomial. In this case, we're going to go with a linear trend line. I can't really see that light blue versus the dark blue spots, so I'm going to change the color to bright red. I can add a label if I'd like, but I think it's pretty obvious. I can change the thickness and how dark the line is. When I click Update, now my chart looks a lot better. I can even save this by clicking on the right triangle and saving it as an image, publishing it, copying it, or moving it to its own sheet. If I want to see what the trend line looks like, I'll click on the View instead of the Edit, and I just hover over it. So I get about 8.6 turtles per month, and I started with about 22 turtles. I hope this was a good introduction to Google Sheets and charting. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at jobartus@isd535.org.